We are hoping to achieve a deal at the table. The issues at hand in the Canada Post negotiations are substantial. They're significant. There's a lot of work to do. And I know the parties are negotiating today. We will make every effort possible to keep them at the table and keep them talking.
Minister McKinnon was unavailable for an interview, but we are going to speak to both the union and Canada Post. First up is Jim Gallant, who is one of the negotiators at the table for the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, which represents over 60,000 Canada Post delivery workers in both rural and urban areas across the country. Hi, Mr. Gallant. Good to see you. Thank you for making the time.
Thanks for having me.
So this strike notice was issued. How likely is a strike as of Friday, in your view?
It's tough to say likely. It's we're at the table and we're trying to work through it, and it's a step that you use, both sides use for leverage to show that they mean that they're at the end of their proverbial rope, and we need to move, and we need to move quickly because time is passing and we're at a difficult time of the year.
Based on what you are seeing at the table right now, do you think it is still possible to avert a strike on Friday?
It's possible, but for us, the other side, Canada Post is going to have to move. We've given them options to have some of the things that they want, but they're very entrenched in the way they want to do them. If we say you can do a certain thing, they will tell us no, that's not the way we want to do it, and that basically crushes that issue, and we have to move on to another issue. But it's every issue. Whatever result we come up with, they will not accept it.
So is there one issue in particular that you are the furthest apart on that prompted, for example, as you termed it, your union to employ this as a means of leverage, or is it, a host of things? Like, what can you tell Canadians tonight about what you're looking for?
There are a host of things, but one of the ones is Canada Post is saying today in the news that they want weekend delivery. They've had the ability to have weekend delivery for years. They had it changed in 2018 inside our collective agreement. It shows them how to do it. They've decided not to do it in that manner. It was their wording when it was put in. Like they were the ones that came up with that wording, and they just gave us notice that the weekend delivery they're doing in Montreal, they're going to stop it. So but they don't want to do it the way do it the way it's in the collective agreement. They want to come up with a new way, but they've mismanaged it to here, and we're trying to show them this. There are better ways to do things, and they just don't want to listen to us.
Are you upset about what they're asking for or the way they are?
A little bit of both, but the most important thing is that the way they're looking at it, they continue to just say no to anything that isn't their idea. So if you say the sky is blue first, they won't agree that the sky is blue.
Can you put a sort of degree of specificity to that? Because we have heard from Canada Post who continue to talk about how their business is essentially up against an immense amount of challenges. They've asked for a look at the mandate, for example, in order to be able to better kind of augment to the reality that we are all familiar with. That's what they've been pushing back with, right? We're losing money. We can't, we can't pretend that we're not. Is there something specific you could point to when you say they're digging in an unreasonable sense of what they are doing in your view?
Well, you bring it right to the head. So they have a crisis on their hands that they're losing money, but it's a manufactured crisis. They end up in the 2023 financial report. They show that they're going to make strategic investment of $4 million over 5 years. So $800 million a year. Last year, they lose $749 million. But it's like 8 months earlier, it's called strategic investment. So it can't be both. So they go out and buy hundreds of trucks that are worth $50,000, $100,000 each, and they're sitting in cities across the country. They made a new parcel plant in Scarborough called Albert Jackson. It's for the future, so there'll be a bigger number of parcels be able to be processed. But that's investment in infrastructure. Labor costs are down over the last great number of years, down by tens of percent, like 25%, somewhere in that range, 28%. But the cost of gas, the cost of everything from food to soup to nuts, basically, is up. And Canada Post wants to take that money and make sure that they're not losing any money. But me as a 36-year employee, they want me to shoulder that burden.
Could I respectfully challenge you and say, and please do correct me if I have the wrong numbers, they're saying they're willing to provide you and your colleagues with an 11% raise over 4 years. My understanding is you've asked for more than 23%. Do you know a lot of people who got a 23% raise in the last few years?
Well, if you've watched collective bargaining over the last little while,
pilots did.
People are. A lot of people are getting them. And what we're doing is the reason that our number is where it is we're going back all the way to one of your next guests is going to be Lisa Rayett. And we were ordered back to work in 2011. And Stephen Harper gave us less than we were being offered at the table. And it took us until an arbitrator made a decision in 2018, 2020. We got some of that money back from when Stephen Harper took it away from us. But we've basically been getting 2% raises all the way along, and that arbitrator gave us a 2.5 and a 2.9 to make up. And during the pandemic, we put aside bargaining for 2 years in an agreement with the employer to extend a collective agreement. But the thought was, between the parties, we were going to deal with that in a couple of years. And now Canada Post, because inflation went up and it's on its way back down, now Canada Post is going, oh, well, inflation is inflation. While inflation was at 6.5% and 4.5%, we took 2% raises. So
this, in your view, is to make up for that?
This absolutely is.
I just have time for one final question. And I get that. I think there are a lot of people watching who also feel the pain of inflation, and their wages have not kept up. At the same time, if you objectively stand back and see a company that's lost $3 billion in 6 years, and I take your point also about the investments that they've made, but objectively, like, how can they afford that?
No other CEO would still be at the top of a company that lost that much money and still taking a bonus. And we saw what happened at CBC, where bonuses were being given out. Same things happened at Canada Post. Bonuses are being given out. How can they be giving out bonuses when they're losing that much money? It's strategic investment. This isn't a catastrophic loss. Okay, I'm going to leave it on that. I'm out of time, but I hope to be able to speak with you again before Friday. I appreciate you making the time this evening, Mr. Gallant. Thank you so much.